What the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, how you feeling today? You better?
I'm feeling okay. I sometimes, though, I feel like there's an almost dreamlike quality to talking about politics in Quebec, because sometimes you see a quote and you're going, it's like, pinch me, am I dreaming? It's like, what the hell's going on here? Can people actually be saying this stuff out loud? But they are, and it's getting a little bit crazy, to tell you the truth, Aaron. So we're hearing things from Francois Legault you never thought you'd hear from anybody.
So we're talking.
Honest to God, when the Premier of Quebec stands up and says, "Yeah, I need 80,000 asylum seekers forced out of Quebec. Get them the hell out of here. I don't want them here, and we'll let Ottawa do the heavy lifting on this." But that's our solution. We should have holding camps, waiting zones, whatever the hell that means. And the guy's saying this out loud, and there isn't a single person. And for those of you at home who are saying, "Well, he's just trying to out PQ the PQ with an anti-immigrant staff," the PQ is turning around saying, "What the hell is this? This guy's gone beyond the pale. This guy has gone completely beyond the pale." And now we have the federal immigration minister, Mark Miller, who's turning around and saying, "Look, it's getting difficult to follow this guy. But what I can tell you is, I'm wondering if this is really about language, because of course Francois Legault is always saying he needs to protect French, and immigration is a threat to the Quebec identity, the French language." And Miller points out, we had a program with the U.S. as well about settling Haitians in North America. Quebec didn't want to have anything to do with that. We have a program about settling Lebanese asylum seekers, and no, Quebec doesn't want to have anything to do. He goes, these people speak French. So the kind of tacit suggestion here is maybe it's not so much the language these people speak, but rather these people themselves. But whatever the case may be, you've got to ask yourself, by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, what the hell is the Premier of Quebec going to say next? Because this stuff is completely off the wall. This stuff you could not wake up to. Honest, Aaron, there are people who are saying, well, they call a show and they say, well, the next thing you know, Legault's going to want them, deported out of Quebec. And you say, no, come on now, that's crazy talk. And here's Legault saying, deport these people out of my nation, which is exactly what's going on. But that said, there is no consensus of opinion backing him up on this. That said, it seems that the only life jacket he can cling on to after this horrible year of misfortune and betrayal and dropping like a rock in the polls is this idea that somehow there's someone to blame. And the most trustworthy, scapegoats have always been immigrants. I'm going to make it immigrants, and now I'm going to keep immigrants in the news. Everything that's going on in Quebec right now, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the threat that's portrayed to Quebec by immigrants, even though every single opposition party, and indeed the Parti Québécois, the party that he wants to out-nationalize, is turning around saying, whoa, this guy's completely gone off the deep end. And he has. And the only question, Aaron, is this performance politics or is this for real?
I think in the case of, I don't know, Jim. If you had to guess, I'd say this is for real. Do you think this is performative politics?
I think he's out of gas and it's for real. Yeah. I agree with you. I think this guy is turning around. He's saying, I got nothing else. My energy, my golden energy plan for Quebec is catching fire from the bottom. It's like this huge curtain that we've been using to cover up the fact that we didn't have a policy on energy. That's catching fire, and people are realizing there's nothing there. And we have all kinds of unanswered questions. And God help us if we have to raise rates for residential users for hydro. You've got basically an economy that keeps running up against the wall. You've got business people who are wondering what in the hell is going on in Quebec. Should we stay? Should we go? And for those of you who are francophones and rooted in Quebec, it's even worse because this government clearly doesn't give a damn about your future, especially if you own a music store. Because this was this was the icing on the cake yesterday. I know we didn't get around to talking about it, but for those of our listeners who didn't hear, they basically want the same way they want appliances to have on and off, and déclenché ou allumé, now bass, treble, balance. You name it, whatever you have on your electric guitar or electric bass. No, it's got to be translated into French. And if they don't like it, well, that's just too bad. No, what will happen is Quebecers just go online, and Quebec music stores will croak. And you know what? This guy doesn't care. He doesn't even know what's going on because his bureaucrats are too busy pulling this stuff out of the air and then publishing it. But meanwhile, remember, immigrants are the problem. I don't know how much longer this guy can keep at this job, to tell you the truth, huh?
I got to tell you something, Jim. This whole immigration, first it was the waiting zones yesterday, then it's today. So, by force if necessary. I think he added that to get the 80,000 immigrants out of here. I wonder if this idea, when Justin Trudeau weighed in last week, and Mark Miller had said that on this show as well the day before, I think, this thing that Legault keeps talking about, we've asked for a plan, we have no plan. So he's complaining about nothing. He's offered nothing in return. Ever since that comment, Jim, he's had something every day. It's as if that just pushed the button, and now he's basically coming out with these crazy things. But at least he's reacting, and it seems that's what the federal government wanted. Yeah,
it's crazy stuff. But the problem is that the bottom line of all these crazy suggestions is, but the federal is going to have to. Remember, this is from the premier who wanted to have full control over immigration in Quebec. Okay. But he's saying, no, anything that happens now, it's the federal that's going to have to do all the heavy lifting on this. And by the way, you were being too kind in what you just said. He didn't say forcible removal if necessary. It's forcible removal full stop, okay?
Oh.
There's no on a case-by-case, although you're quite right for perhaps thinking that, because as people are pointing out today, the guy hasn't said how you even go around choosing these people. Who you decide stays or who you decide goes. What the hell is he talking about? But he's talking to a room full of reporters while he's on an official visit to Paris. He's getting coverage of the yin-yang, and he's saying stuff that, quite frankly, makes you really wonder, if he's altogether there today, and if he's perhaps really talking about something that he understands, because this does not make sense. But by the way, the fact that people, by and large, and it's not just in Quebec, but in North America, there is a lot of concern over the issue of immigration. How many brush fires is this guy, lighting when he talks about forcible removal of immigrants?
Yeah.
When he talks about how immigrants are a threat. This is not with all due respect, this is not some guy calling a talk radio show. This is a premier of Quebec saying this stuff.
To your suggestion, maybe, I don't know, you're kind of describing and asking the question, I think other people might be as well. Is he beginning to lose it?
Is he beginning to lose it? Or even if he isn't, has he reached the point where he doesn't care?
Yeah.
He's just saying anything for him to win his point.
Okay.
Because this is really getting scary. I've never had a conversation. 40 years I've been doing this. I've never had a conversation like this about a Quebec premier saying stuff like this or having a non-policy like this. We are in terra incognita, and I'm not really sure where we're going to wind up.
Yeah, and doing it from out of the country, by the way, to boot. All right, let me turn to what's happening federally today, another non-confidence motion. What happened with the Yves-François Blanchet motion on OAS? It was approved. How did that work?
It was approved, but it's not binding. In other words, the government, which has the final say, the government which makes things happen, voted, or most of them voted against it. My understanding is cabinet ministers were told, no, you cannot vote in favor of this. But and for the rest, it was a free vote. So, essentially, the Liberals voted against it. The rest of the House, the opposition, voted in favor, and it passed. So it's non-binding. It's there. It's on the books, but nothing is going to happen with it. And meanwhile, the clock is still ticking. And it's becoming clear that even though Justin Trudeau, certainly as far as English language Quebecers were concerned, was really showing a real talent for hiding under his desk until stuff went away, is just coming out swinging when it comes to, anybody suggesting, give us what we want or the government's going to fall. All of a sudden, he's getting really feisty. All of a sudden, he's putting on the gloves. As far as I'm concerned, it's way too late. As far as I'm concerned, the opposition parties are simply getting completely exasperated with, quite frankly, a prime minister of Canada who seems to be just as, erratic as the premier of Quebec when it comes to policy, when it comes to staying the course on something. I really don't know what the government's objective is this week or next month, other than let's make sure the opposition parties, don't get too uppity. But the fact is, as we know, we pointed out, in order for this government to fall, all three opposition parties have to vote as one. It's almost as if Justin Trudeau is trying to force that to occur. I'm not sure if that's his plan. It will probably be the result, though, if he keeps this up. Because even though I think that Yves-François Blanchet, Jagmeet Singh, would rather not be seen cooperating with Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, they may well end up having to do that. And maybe this is just Justin Trudeau's version of a game of political chicken. Fact is, there are so many unknowns here. And once again, does this mean? Is he being this cocky because prorogation is a lead pipe stench and it's going to happen sooner rather than later? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But my God, what a way to run a country! It's like every time you want to make a policy decision, you just shake the 8-ball.
Jim, before I let you go, did you watch the vice presidential debate last night?
I watched it today.
Oh, okay. Give me your take real quick. Was there a winner and a loser?
I think the American people are the losers because when you normalize somebody, he was there. Vance was there normalizing Trump, and he at the end, and this was the money quote, which everyone seized upon, but will it be remembered? He refused to say whether Trump lost the election. What the hell is this? So there we go. I mean, that's how lead pipe sure they are that they're going to win. But honestly, the conspiracy, of course, is that if Trump does win, he'll suddenly discover he's unfit for office in 6 months' time. And guess who becomes president?
President J.D. Vance. Imagine that, huh? All right.
I'd rather not.
Jim, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I demand.